Okay, so we have a graph here for each of the masters. Yellow is 1v1, red 2v2 randoms, and 2v2 premates is blue. And we can see straight away here the biggest bar is Morelia. So overall, Morelia is the most played master based on the leaderboard. Looks like second place is Milwaukee, and third place is Stormbringer. And also, why not look at the other side of it? Wrecked is the lowest. But how does that compare to last season? Well, let's have a little looky here. So we'll switch to pie charts. So left pie chart is last season, 2.16, and the right pie chart is this season, 2.17. And we can see that Morelia, as we saw just now, is still the master of choice. In fact, Morelia's gone up. Morelia's had the biggest overall increase of all of the masters. So first last season with 13%, over 16% this season. Very versatile master. Don't have to play her with an accursed deck. And of course, she does have that alt perk if you want to try that out. So last season, Morelia, Stormbringer, Diona. And this season, Morelia, Milloween in the light blue, Stormbringer in the orange. And in fourth place, we have Apep there in the sort of the darker blue. So Morelia went up quite a lot, so did Apep and Valorian, and Diona did drop off quite a lot. Remember, Diona did get a nerf, but not in this patch, in the last patch. Volko dropped off, and Tronvir. So that's the Masters overall, but let's drill down a little bit and have a look at the specific game modes. So let's switch to 1v1, so solos. Last season, Diona was #1 by a long way. The orange there on the left, nearly 18%. And you can see on the right, Diona's dropped down to 5th place at just under 11%. So Valorian, the green, is the #1 choice in solos this season. Volko 2nd, Apep 3rd, Milloween 4th. Valorian has seen the biggest increase from last season. You can see the green from last season was 5th or 6th or something, up to 1st this season. Apep's gone up a lot. Morelia's gone up a lot. Diona dropped off massively. King Puff dropped off a little bit. And Milloween also dropping off. Average mana cost didn't really change, went down 0.1 of an average mana, but not really changed. And of course, if you're new to the game, if you're building a deck, you want to kind of look between sort of 3.5 to 4.5 mana. That's an average mana cost for your deck. But of course, mana curve, stuff like that is important as well. Right, so Valorian, the #1 choice in solos, but let's have a look how that compares to randoms. So randoms last season, Morelia in the yellow, Milloween 2nd, King Puff 3rd. This season, it's still Morelia, and it's even more Morelia. I noticed at various occasions when I was towards the top of the randoms leaderboard, the top 4 players were playing Morelia. Right, so Morelia, still #1. Milloween, still #2. King Puff has dropped off. Mordor is #3. So if we look at the changes between the seasons, Milloween went up the most. Stormbringer also went up a little bit. King Puff dropped off quite a lot, which I'm kind of surprised about because he did get that change, that buff to his alt perk, the Mimic Magic. But I feel like that's a very niche perk where it really depends on what your opponent's playing as to what sort of value you can get out of it. So King Puff dropped off quite a lot. Setsu dropped off quite a lot. Tronvir also dropped off quite a lot. And again, the average mana cost didn't really change, 3.8 up to 3.9. Right, so Morelia, the master of choice in randoms for this season. Now, how does things change with premates? Now, premates last season, Stormbringer, Morelia, Mordor. This season, Stormbringer, Morelia, Mordor. Yep, not too much has changed there. Morelia still 2nd, but has eaten up quite a lot of that pie, up from 11% to 17%. So still 2nd, but more 2nd, if that makes any sense. So the top 3 is still the same. As mentioned, Morelia went up quite a lot, so did Setsu. King Puff also went up a little bit. But what dropped off? Volko dropped off, Diona dropped off, Ratbo dropped off. And one of the new things the devs have done this season is they've given us end of season stats for win rates and play rates for cards. That's not the data set that we use for this video, but it's definitely something to keep into consideration. And I did have a little look at it, and I'll show you a link to it a bit later. But one thing that really stood out is in pre-mades. So King Puff's down there at 8.1%, fifth overall. But if we look at the win rate data, and remember, something to clarify is the win rate data is for, I think, all matches above platinum, including and above platinum, whereas this is just leaderboard data. But the win rate data showed that King Puff had a 71% win rate, which is massively, massively OP according to that data. Not a massive play rate, but a massive win rate. So King Puff with the highest win rate down in fifth, and Stormbringer up in first with only a 48% win rate. So that's definitely something that we can maybe look at a later date. Right, so those are the master popularities. Average mana cost went down a little bit just to finish off there with pre-mades 4.1. And then the last thing we're going to look at is master popularity for draft. Of course, draft is a little different. You can't just choose whatever you want. You build your deck from the options given to you, but still, Morelia comes out on top. Tronville was second last season. Diona's second this season. Valorian third last season. Valorian's really dropped off. So Morelia, the master of choice here, closely followed by Diona in draft. Setsu saw a lot more play, as did Apep. Valorian dropped off a lot, as did Tronville. And again, the average mana cost is pretty much the same across all the game modes. Right, so master popularity done.